Hi, Bill Jones from Turntastic Wood Designs. I made this simple jig for my bandsaw that gives me perfect circles every time. It was really simple to make, and if you'd like to know how, I'll show you next. I started by cutting a piece of melamine slightly bigger than the bandsaw table. I like to use melamine because it has a nice slick surface. I wrapped the melamine in some strips of pine just to keep it from getting banged up too badly. I cut a piece of hardwood to fit perfectly in the miter slot of the bandsaw table. I installed the dado stack in the table saw and cut a shallow dado to accept that slot runner. I glued it into the slot and tacked it down with some 1-inch brads. Then I just ran the jig through the saw using the hardwood slot guide. I cut a dado for the radius stick perpendicular to the kerf of the saw using a 3/4 inch bit in my router. I picked up these bolts with very shallow heads at my local hardware store. I countersunk for those bolts such that they would overlap the radius stick. I created the radius stick to fit in the slot just under the heads of the bolts, and using wing nuts I can lock it in place. I drilled a 1/4 inch hole not quite all the way through the radius stick on one end and epoxied a small piece of steel rod in the hole. To use the jig, you drill a 1/4 inch hole about a 1/2 inch deep into what you want to cut. Then you set the radius stick the distance of the radius away from the saw blade. You position the piece to be cut with its hole over the pin that sticks up through the radius stick. Then you turn the saw on, you push the jig forward, and you spin the piece to be cut. And that gives me perfect circles every time. I've got quite a range available too, because the way this stick works, I can go way out, or if I need to, I turn the stick around the other way. And if I need more range, I just make another stick like this. So I can do as many size circles as I need. And that's a really handy little tool. Get your circles perfect every time. Now, one thing you may be worrying about is having to drill a little hole in the bottom of the piece that you're doing. Most of the time, actually, that's not a problem. If it's a tabletop or something, it's going to be the underside. If it really bugs you, you can plug it. But even then, if you still absolutely need to not have a hole in the middle, you can simply take another piece of scrap plywood and hot glue it to the bottom, drill your hole in that, and then make your circle. So that would solve that problem. Well, I hope you liked this video and found it useful. If you did, please like and share with your friends. And if you have any questions or comments, please leave them in the area below. I'd love to hear from you. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. And as always, thanks for watching.